10,000 alien champions, one brutal, galactic death game, and at the edge of the final round stood a single human no one expected to survive. No powers, no weapons, just raw instinct, forgotten memories, and a dark secret buried so deep. Even he didn't know it was there. Why was he still alive when monsters stronger, faster, and older had fallen? Why did the game seem to whisper only to him? And what if he wasn't a player at all? Stay close, because the truth behind this human survival will flip the entire galaxy upside down. Before we start, aliens hide the answer in plain sight. Can you outsmart them? Crack the pinned comments question to prove humanity's brainpower reigns supreme. Watch every second, or let the cosmos laugh at us. I'll be waiting your answer. Oh yes. Please, please, and please, hit that card button in the top right corner to subscribe now. And be sure to ring the notification bell so you never miss a single one of our epic daily stories the moment they drop. Let's dive in the story. No one knew his real name. To the galaxy, he was just player 5991, the last surviving human in a game built to crush souls and shred bodies. A nightmare dressed as a tournament, broadcast across 10,000 star systems, watched by billions, loved by none. The arena loomed above a dying red dwarf star, a massive steel sphere with glowing seams that pulsed like a heartbeat. Inside, silence reigned, for now. 10 remained. 9 of them were alien champions, forged in chaos and blood. And then there was him, Cal Rayner, 38 years old, human, sharp-jawed, eyes like burnt amber, with days of stubble across his hardened face. His compression suit clung to his athletic frame, sleek black with neon blue veins pulsing faintly beneath the surface. He stood alone in the preparation chamber, staring up at the ceiling that seemed to breathe with life. Each breath could be his last. A sharp hiss echoed. The doors split open like the jaws of a beast. From the thick mist stepped Sarah, a vision of lethal grace. Emerald skin shimmered under the soft red lights. Her sleek crimson suit clung to every curve like liquid flame, bold and unapologetic, every line of her figure screaming danger. An allure. Well, she said, voice like velvet over steel. A little monkey still clinging to life. How quaint. Cal gave a dry chuckle and stretched his neck. You aliens really need new insults. Monkey? That's been overused since round 3. Her smile widened. Yet you're still here. He raised an eyebrow. That's what keeps bothering you, isn't it? Before she could reply, a towering brute stomped into view. Thick gray skin, 6 eyes, shoulders like boulders. Dravik of Glovek. He cracked his knuckles with thunderous pops. I say we skip the drama and start crushing skulls, he growled, glaring down at Cal. Starting with yours. Cal tilted his head and gave a slow nod. Big guy, I get it. You've got a lot of rage. A tiny brain. And probably a massive inferiority complex hidden somewhere in all that stone. Sarah chuckled softly. Careful, human. That one doesn't joke back. I don't joke at all, Dravik growled, stepping forward. Cal raised a finger. Ah, save it for the cameras. As if on cue, a deep synthetic voice boomed across the chamber. Welcome, final contestants. You have survived 1,447 rounds. Congratulations. The last game begins now. The walls rumbled. The floor split into hexagonal tiles, lifting slowly to reveal 10 elevated platforms. Each one shimmered with strange light, unstable, threatening. You've made it far, Sarah said, turning to Cal. But no matter what you've done, you won't win. You're still just human. Cal stepped onto his platform and looked out over the arena that had swallowed so many before him. He smiled faintly. Exactly. That's why I will win. A silence fell. Somewhere deep in the arena's core, the game stirred awake, waiting. And far beneath the surface, hidden in layers of forgotten code, a secret pulsed in the dark, waiting to be remembered. The moment the platform stopped rising, the arena shifted. Without warning, Cal was swallowed by a blinding flash. His body felt weightless, like falling through a dream made of static and broken thoughts. When the light vanished, he was standing in a room he hadn't seen in over 30 years. The smell of burnt coffee. The buzz of a neon sign reading "Eat Here." He blinked. A diner. A perfect replica of the one in his hometown, back when Earth still existed. What the hell? He stepped forward slowly, boots echoing against black and white tile. Rain tapped the windows. A familiar old jukebox played some dusty blues tune. And behind the counter stood a woman with curly brown hair, wiping a mug with a smile that shattered his heart. "Mom." The woman looked up. "Coffee's still hot, Cal," she said. "You look tired." His breath caught. His legs almost gave out. "You're not real," he whispered. She smiled again, same way she used to when he came home from school bruised and bloody. "That's never stopped you from talking to me before." Cal stepped back, eyes scanning the room. Something wasn't right. There were no exits, no rules posted, no timer, just the memory. Too vivid, too perfect. "This isn't a game," he muttered. A low voice echoed across the air like thunder behind clouds. "This is the maze of memory. Face your truth, or be consumed by it." The door to the kitchen burst open with a loud crash. Flames roared inside. Screams echoed, his own voice, younger, terrified. He backed away. His mother's image didn't flinch. "You know what's in there," she said softly. "You've buried it long enough." "No," he clenched his fists. "Not here. Not like this. Why do you think you're still alive, Cal? Why do you think they can't break you?" Her voice trembled now, tears brimming in her eyes. "Because you keep forgetting what you lost." Suddenly, glass shattered behind him. Through the broken windows, he saw another player, an insectoid alien with jagged limbs, running from something unseen. The walls bent. Screams layered over each other like echoes in a canyon. Cal gritted his teeth. "None of this is real." "It's real enough to kill you," said a new voice behind him. He turned, and there stood Sarah, completely unfazed by the illusion. Her form-fitting red suit shimmered like molten glass in the diner's flickering lights. "Well, now this is touching," she said, eyeing the scene with amusement. "Family trauma. Old Earth. Vintage decor. You humans really know how to stage a breakdown." Cal growled, stepping forward. "You followed me? We were all dropped into our own memories. Seems like yours are louder than most. Get out." Sarah leaned against the counter, ignoring his fury. "I'll leave when you remember what you came here to forget." Before he could answer, the room exploded into white light. A scream echoed through the arena, then silence. Another player down. 8 left. And in Cal's heart, a fracture deepened. He still couldn't remember what his mother's last words were before she died. But whatever they were, they mattered more than anything. The next round began with a violent jolt that knocked the air from Cal's lungs. He opened his eyes to a sky made of fire, burning orange clouds, electric storms dancing across the void. He was floating, suspended in weightlessness. All around him, chunks of metal platforms spun like giant puzzle pieces, shifting endlessly in a dome without gravity. This was round 4, the gravity gauntlet. Cal righted himself, spinning slowly until his boots magnetized to a nearby plate. As soon as he touched down, a voice thundered overhead. "Objective. Reach the core switch. 1 survivor minimum. Obstacles include kinetic blades, laser drones, and fellow players. Begin." He looked up. The core floated dead center, 50 feet away, guarded by spinning saws and high-speed drones. "Easy," he muttered, crouching low. A hiss to his left. A blur shot past him. Sarah landed a few feet away, her crimson suit glowing under the charged sky. She smirked as she bounced to the next platform without hesitation, her body twisting midair with the elegance of a predator in flight. Cal rolled his eyes. "Show off." "I heard that," she called back, flipping mid-jump. Suddenly, a guttural roar filled the air. Dravik. The Glovek brute thundered into view, riding a broken slab of metal like a war chariot, bashing drones aside with his bare fists. "I'm done playing games," he bellowed. Cal ducked just in time as a spinning blade missed his head by inches. He leapt from his platform, using his momentum to launch toward a floating wreck. The edges sparked as he landed hard, breath ragged. "Pretty sure this is a game," he muttered. As he climbed toward the center, a drone locked onto him. Red beam charging. Cal reacted fast, grabbing a metal shard and flinging it like a throwing knife. The drone exploded, sending a shockwave that threw him off balance. He spun uncontrollably, flailing through the air. Sarah shot past him again, this time catching a jutting pipe and swinging herself up toward the core. "Try to keep up, hero," she called. "Try not to die, flirt." Another drone came for him. This time, he aimed with purpose. He kicked off a panel, launched toward the enemy, grabbed the drone midair, twisted its frame, and rode it like a board straight to the core. Sarah landed on the platform first. Dravik smashed down beside her. Cal crashed in a second later, skidding to a stop. Sparks flew as the three locked eyes. No words, just heavy breathing. Then, chaos. Dravik lunged at Cal. Sarah grabbed the brute's arm and kicked him in the ribs, sending him sprawling. Cal dove for the switch. "Don't!" Dravik roared. Cal's fingers slammed down on the button. A flash. A boom. 3 players vaporized mid-jump. Only 7 remained. Cal rolled onto his back, chest heaving. Sarah knelt beside him, hair plastered to her cheek. "You're insane," she whispered. "Yeah," he said, grinning up at the burning sky. "But I'm still alive." And somewhere deep within him, something stirred. Not a memory. A warning. The next chamber was nothing like the others. Cold metal walls. A single overhead light. Silence so thick, it pressed against the skull. Cal stood at one side of the room, arms folded, heart still racing from the last round. His suit was scorched, a long burn across his right arm, but he barely noticed. His focus was locked on the center of the room where a digital counter glowed red. 5 o'clock for contestants. Only 2 could move on. The rules were clear. Choose who stays, or let the room decide by force. Sarah leaned against the far wall, arms crossed, one leg casually bent as if she were lounging in a bar instead of a death chamber. Her emerald skin caught the light in a way that made her look like a living sculpture. Calm, collected, deadly. Next to her, Dravik loomed like a boulder ready to fall on someone's head. He hadn't spoken yet. His breathing was heavy, angry. The fourth was Voider, a silent wraith in a cloak of black mist. No one had heard his voice since round 1. He hadn't needed to speak. He just survived. Somehow, Cal broke the silence. "Well, I'm guessing we're not going to talk this out over tea and cookies." Sarah smirked. "Disappointing. I was hoping for wine and betrayal." Dravik finally growled. "No deals. No alliances. I crush 2 of you, and I walk out with whoever's left breathing." Cal rolled his eyes. Real original. Ever try therapy instead of murder? "Shut your mouth, human." Cal stepped forward. "Here's an idea. Let's not play dumb. We all know how this works. 2 of us agree. 1 gets shoved out, the other fights for their life." Sarah tapped her lip, pretending to think. So who's your pick? Me or Stoneface?" Dravik bared his teeth. "I pick no one. I take what I want." Voider moved then, barely. Just a small shift, but enough to draw attention. His presence was wrong. Cold. Like something ancient pretending to be alive. Sarah nodded toward him. "What about him? He doesn't talk. Doesn't fight. Why is he still here?" Kel narrowed his eyes. "Because he's watching." The timer hit 3:12. No one moved. Sarah sighed. "All right. Fine. You and me. Cal, final 2. Dravik's too unstable. And Voider gives me the creeps." Cal blinked. "You're actually suggesting we team up? Don't flatter yourself. You're just less annoying than the other 2. Dravik snarled, fists tightening. "Enough." He lunged. Sarah rolled. Cal ducked. Voider vanished in a blink of dark light. Literally vanished, leaving behind only a cold mist that spiraled toward the ceiling. "What the hell?" Cal spun. Too late. Dravik's fist hit his side like a hammer. He crashed against the wall, gasping. Sarah vaulted off a pipe, landing a clean kick to Dravik's head. The brute stumbled. She grabbed Cal's hand, pulling him up. Still breathing? Barely. The timer hit midnight. Suddenly, the room split open. A new corridor unfolded. A voice echoed, "Selected, Sarah." "Cal, proceed." Dravik roared as a force field shoved him back. Sparks flew. He slammed his fists against the barrier. "You'll regret this." Sarah didn't look back. "Probably," she said. Cal limped beside her, grinning through the pain. "Just once. I'd like a game without murder." She chuckled. "Then you're in the wrong galaxy, darling." Behind them, Dravik's house faded into silence. And far ahead, the corridor pulsed with the unknown. Darkness swallowed everything. There were no lights, no sounds, just endless black. Even Cal's suit dimmed, its glowing lines fading into silence like they, too, were afraid. His breath echoed in his helmet, shallow and sharp. This was round 6, and the arena called it the null zone. A whisper tickled his ears. Turn around. He froze. That voice, it sounded like his. Almost, but not quite. Sarah, he called out. Nothing. He reached out, hands brushing against air that felt thicker than it should, like moving through smoke laced with glass. His pulse quickened. Another whisper. Left, left. Again, he turned, slowly, his feet unsure. No walls. No floor. Just more black. Even gravity felt wrong. Suddenly, a tiny buzz in his ear. A connection came online. Sarah's voice, low and focused. Cal, can you hear me? He exhaled. Relief bloomed in his chest. Yeah, barely. Where are you? No clue. This place messes with orientation. I'm picking up faint pulses, maybe a path. Follow my signal. Cal moved cautiously, letting her voice guide him through the black. Each step felt like falling forward, like the floor wasn't real. You sound calm, he said. I'm pretending, she replied. He grinned despite himself. I'm terrified. Good. Means you're alive. Then her voice dropped a notch. Something's following me. Cal stopped. What? No clue what it is. But I can feel it. Like, the air changes when it moves. The whisper returned. You don't belong here, he stiffened. Something just talked to me. It sounded like me, but twisted. Sarah hissed. Keep walking. Don't stop. The game is pulling from our minds. It's feeding off memory. Wonderful, Cal muttered. Another round of emotional torture. You get used to it. He chuckled weakly. No, you don't. Suddenly, a flicker of light appeared ahead, a dim, golden glow floating like a will-o'-the-wisp. The key, Sarah whispered. That's it. Head toward it. Cal moved faster now. The whispers grew louder. You left us. You forgot her. You let Earth die. Each step made his legs feel heavier, like guilt had its own gravity. He shook his head. None of this is real. None of it is real. His foot snagged on something invisible, and he tumbled forward, hitting unseen ground hard. The whispers screamed. Pain burst through his ribs. Sarah's voice cut through. Get up, Cal. It's a trap. He reached out. Fingers scraped metal. The key. He grabbed it, hard hammering, and the world exploded into white. The darkness shattered like glass. He was back in the real chamber, flat steel, glowing lines, and Sarah kneeling beside him. Her breathing was ragged, her suit scorched at the shoulder. She looked at him and shook her head. You're slower than you look. He laughed weakly. You're faster than you deserve to be. Her smile cracked for the first time, something softer hiding beneath the surface. Careful, Cal. I might start liking you. He stared at the key in his hand. So what now? She glanced at the gate ahead, tall, ancient, humming with power. Now we find out who we really are. Behind them, a shadow moved, silent and watching. Voider had never left. The gate opened with a low groan, ancient mechanisms grinding to life like something buried for centuries. Beyond it, a chamber unlike any they'd seen before revealed itself, vast, golden, and humming with energy that buzzed against Cal's skin. Pillars lined the circular arena, carved with symbols in no known language. At the center, a high platform rose with 3 empty podiums and a massive throne behind them, made of black crystal and wrapped in glowing circuitry. Floating above it all was a projection, the symbol of the game, pulsing like a heartbeat. Sarah stepped in beside Cal, her breath visible in the charged air. Well, she said, tilting her head, this doesn't scream death trap at all. Cal raised an eyebrow. Just once, I'd like a final round with confetti and a snack bar. Then came the voice. Final trial initiated. Contestants will present their case. The throne will decide. Sarah blinked. We're pitching ourselves? Cal stared at the throne. Looks like it. The air shimmered. Voider materialized in silence, his hood pulled low, mist curling around his feet like smoke from an invisible fire. The 3 stepped up onto their respective podiums as the throne pulsed brighter. A deep chime echoed. State your claim. Cal took a breath and stepped forward. He looked up at the galaxy of eyes watching from screens across a million systems. He wasn't nervous. Not anymore. He died enough times inside to understand fear was just another layer of the game. I'm not the strongest, he began, voice clear, or the smartest. I didn't come here with power. I came here with loss. I've watched everything I loved vanish, my world, my people, my family. He paused, eyes burning. But I'm still here. Not because I fought harder, but because I learned. I remembered what mattered, and I never forgot who I am. Silence followed. Then Sarah stepped up, her tone crisp and regal. I am Sarah of Androlax. I have fought with dignity. I made no deals I couldn't keep. I didn't deceive or manipulate. I earned my path with skill and courage. She looked at Cal, then at Voider. Some claw their way through chaos. Others vanish into shadows. I stood in the open, and I never once hid from who I was. The throne pulsed again. One final chime. Voider stepped forward, and for the first time in the entire game, he spoke. His voice was deep, not loud, but commanding, like a storm that hadn't broken yet. I deserve nothing, he said. Sarah tensed. What? Voider raised his head. His face, hidden until now, shimmered with light and darkness. Not flesh, not bone, something artificial. This game is a lie, he continued. It was never meant to have a winner, only a survivor. But survival is not victory. Cal leaned forward, eyes narrowing. What do you mean? Voider's cloak fell away, revealing his true form, a machine wrapped in the memories of the dead. A living archive of every player who'd ever perished. He looked directly at Cal. You've been here before. Again, and again, and again. Cal's breath caught in his throat. What? Voider lifted a hand, and the room shimmered. Suddenly, the world stilled. No sound, no movement. The chamber froze, judges, projections, even Sarah, locked in time. Only Cal remained awake, and deep inside, a single word echoed. Remember. Time stood still. The lights dimmed to a soft glow, like the universe itself had taken a breath and was waiting for Cal to exhale. Everyone else remained frozen, Sarah mid-blink, the judges locked in their seats, Voider motionless on his podium. Except for Cal. He turned slowly, the silence pressing against his chest like invisible pressure. Even the hum of the arena had vanished. Nothing moved. Nothing lived. Except him. And then, a whisper. You were never meant to be a player. Cal's knees trembled. He looked down at his hands, trembling now with something deeper than fear. Voider stepped down from his podium, moving fluidly, no longer a ghost, but something fully real. Alive with stolen memory. His eyes, now glowing blue, locked onto Cal's. You created this, Voider said calmly. Not in your last life. Not as a contestant. Long ago, before the collapse of Earth. You built the framework. You planted the seed of the game. That's impossible, Cal whispered. You're the architect, Voider interrupted. Your consciousness was fragmented after the final upload. The Galactic Council erased your name. Your mind entered the simulation and forgot its purpose. Each time you reached the end, the game wiped you clean. Until now. Cal staggered back. No, that can't be true. It is, Voider said, his voice gentler now. You wanted justice. You wanted to punish those who destroyed Earth's legacy. So you created a tournament that attracted the worst. But over time, it became something else. A machine of blood and spectacle. Cal's eyes began to shimmer. And my mother? He asked, voice cracking. The diner, that memory, Voider tilted his head. Her final words. That's the piece they couldn't erase. Cal's breath caught. He shut his eyes. The memory rushed back, so fast, so vivid it hurt. His mother's hand on his face, warm and trembling. Her voice, soft and breaking. Don't lose who you are, Cal. Even if the stars forget your name, you remember it. He opened his eyes, and he remembered everything. Every round, every loop, every death. I wasn't a contestant, he whispered. I was a prisoner. Voider nodded. But now you can rewrite it. The arena flickered, code unraveling like strands of silk in the wind. The throne pulsed faster. Lights shattered. The chamber cracked. Cal stepped toward the control panel behind the throne, now revealed, glowing with ancient runes and familiar architecture. Sarah suddenly gasped, unfrozen. The chamber returned to motion. Alarms blared. She looked at Cal, eyes wide. What's happening? Cal placed his hand on the panel. His voice was steady now. It's over. The arena's systems groaned. Sequence accepted. Master control re-established. Voider stepped back, fading into mist. You remembered. That was the final game. Sarah stared as the arena began to dissolve into golden light, piece by piece. You are the architect? Cal nodded once. I was. I think I still am. So what now? He turned to her, eyes calm, voice clear. Now we end the game. For good. The throne disintegrated behind him, and the entire chamber burst into starlight, washing the darkness away. Billions watching across the galaxy saw their screens go black. No champion. No blood. Only silence. And then a single message appeared. The game is over. Let memory become truth. Cal stood alone in the emptiness, no longer a number, no longer a prisoner. He was Cal Rayner, and he had remembered who he was. The architect, who finally set his creation free. Here's the story ends. If you enjoyed and want to watch more thrilling sci-fi adventures, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Dive into epic battles, explore distant galaxies, and join brave heroes as they fight for survival against impossible odds. Let us know in comments if you want next chapters to publish soon. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and become part of the journey. Together, we'll keep the last light burning. Subscribe now and let the adventure continue.